Hi guys, it's the Macintosh Guide, and I've got an interesting series that I wanted to do for a very long time, which is the macOS Upgrade Marathon. Now, we will be upgrading the Mac Pro 6.1, which you guys obviously know is my favorite Mac released by Apple, to every officially supported OS X slash macOS version. It will be 4 episodes long, and this will be going from Mavericks all the way to Monterey that it can officially support. Uh, each episode will have either 2 or 3 OSs. The first episode will have 3 OSs because we've already got Mavericks installed from the previous video we did in the bar. I will be talking about the upgrade times between OSs, how long it takes to upgrade from each OS, the features of every single OS, but it won't be features in terms of every single feature that was out. That'll be too long for me to do. There'll be some key features that Apple touted during the event. Now, there are some features that obviously, as you'll probably find out throughout the video, that do not work or are very fiddly when it comes to working. And there are some OSs which were just under the hood performances, so there's not much to really show. The other thing I'd want to try and do, which you probably guys realise it was a bit of a fail, is try to do a Geekbench score in each OS. Now, Geekbench 4 and 3 don't output any results for me, whereas Geekbench 5 does. So I believe I can only show the later OS's scores, but I'll see if I can find some history for the previous OS's. Also, we'll be looking at app compatibility for key apps. So these are applications such as Chrome, iWork apps, Office apps, Final Cut Pro, Xcode, and the Adobe suite, and we'll see what last version they can all run on some of the previous OSs. And then finally we'll conclude by saying, is it wise to run per episode? So each episode will have this little slide I'll be talking about. Is it wise to run this OS on your machine? And is there going to be any issues, anything like that? So, yeah, guys, stay tuned. It's going to be a very, very long series, but I hope you guys enjoy. So, guys, the first operating system we're going to be looking at is macOS Mavericks. So, it was released back in 2013 of October on the 22nd with a build of 10.9.0 was the version. Now, the Mac Pro shipped with 10.9.1, which was released in December of 2013. The current version currently available is 10.9.5, which was released with the most up-to-date build being in 2016. So the version came out in 2014, but the build, there was security updates that were still being applied until 2016. To be able to update to Mavericks, there's a free update from 10.6.8, Snow Leopard. And the supported devices I've listed on the slide here as well. I just got the screenshot from Apple's Mavericks support technical specifications site. So yeah, guys, the one that we're mostly interested in is the Mac Pro one, which is from early 2008 to newer, but obviously this Mac Pro came out in December 2013. So to just talk about some of Mavericks features, Mavericks was more of like an under the hood type of update. However, it did come with its many issues. Now, one of the cool features Mavericks had was something called tags. Now, if I open up disk, the hard disk. So if I go to the Mac Pro, and I go into my documents, let's just say, you can see over here that there's such thing. There's tags. There's colors are associated with it. And to give you, just to show you how it works, you just right click on a folder, you associate with the color, let's just say red. If you click on red, it will just show you that folder. And also I've done that with just the test file. So going to green, I can see that there's an RTF document right here. Very nice, very clean. It helps with organization. I think that was a very good positive feature for Apple to add. Safari saw a couple of improvements as well. So the biggest feature for Safari this year was the iCloud keychain addition. So what you would see is the passwords preference is showing up here as well. So this would sync between your devices, between your iOS and Mac devices. Very convenient. Any passwords that you dealt with on your phone, you can now all of a sudden see here. Again, it's a useful feature that Apple introduced. Also added a couple of apps. So they added the Maps application. As you can tell on Mavericks, it just doesn't even work. This was around the iOS X time, I believe, and iOS X, we all know, was a huge disaster. So there was the Maps ad that was added on. There was also iBooks, which I don't have any books, so I can't really show you guys anything. But yeah, this is a new Books app. Again, some features that were moved across from iOS just to merge those two together a bit more. The calendar app had a redesign of such to just match the OS, I guess, a bit more. They got rid of the skeuomorphic design, so that was pretty good to see, nice, clean. And also the Notes app as well. That again had some minor design changes happening. But apps such as like Messages, Reminders, Game Center, and stuff don't really see any other additions or any changes. The other cool thing that Apple also did in this update was the multiple displays support, which is crazy that Apple didn't support that for a very long time. You can drag and drop applications onto different screens. You can do full screens on different monitors. So it was positive to see Apple adding those type of capabilities in. And one of the last things I wanted to show was the interactive notifications. So I couldn't get this to work for some reason. It just wouldn't let me sign into my iMessage. But what it allows is if someone sent you a text message or FaceTime call or anything like that, or tweets, you can actually interact with them on the notification itself, which I miss. I hate that I have to click additional buttons on Big Sur and Monterey. This was the easiest option to be able to respond back to your notifications. So bring this big feature back, Apple. Just to go over the app compatibility, guys. The iWork suite is iWork 13. That's the only one that works. Chrome version 67.0.3396.99, which was released back in June 25th, 2018, works. Firefox ESR 78, I wasn't able to find a release date, but that's the only version that works. It's very old though. Office apps, only Office 2011 works on Mavericks. Adobe Suite CS6 works, CS5 works, CS4 works as well. Final Cut Pro 10.1.3 works. So yeah, those are the compatible apps with Mavericks. So guys, now we're going to move on to OS X Yosemite. This was released with version 10.10 on October 14th, 2014. The upgrade time it took between Mavericks to Yosemite was about 17 minutes and 58 seconds, so pretty quick. Current version is 10.10.5 as of August 2015, but the latest security build is from 2017. It's a free update again. If you've got 10.6.8, Snow Leopard onwards, it's a free update. And the supported devices is the same as what Mavericks supported. So again, good. All the devices are still supported. So yeah, let's move on to the next stage. Now booted fully into Yosemite. I just had a couple of updates I had to actually do. Now, what's interesting, guys, is it looks very different. You know, you've got a more flatter design. I think it's a more sleek design. New notification center. We've actually got like a really nice little date. We've got some widgets going on. We can add the weather. The do not disturb. This was already there since Mavericks time, but again, sleeker, a separate notifications tab. Yeah, it genuinely looks a bit sleeker. One of the cool things is, you know how Spotlight search is all the way at the top here? You can now get a Spotlight search here. Now I don't think, yeah, so Yosemite never allowed us to move it around. But we can search for applications, Safari, just like normal, and it gives us extra information. Now, again, this is quite good. This is better. I prefer it like this. And obviously it stayed consistent throughout, even till present time. So yeah, much better design. Let's just open up a couple of apps, stuff like mail. I don't think it will open up because I've got nothing. There you go. So mail closes right there. Calendar, notes, maps, everything, guys, is redesigned to this more flatter design. Calendar, look, even the maps started working as well. I'm not going to go to my actual location because I don't want to reveal that information. The new Photos app, which is here, which is again brilliant. Edit functionality on photos. You can do this just in the Photos app. No need to have a pro level editing software. Obviously, this is going to be very minimal, guys. You do need those pro apps to be able to do the major stuff. But again, this is more than enough for very minimal users. And just able to sort all of this out on the fly. I'm obviously not going to turn iCloud sharing on. I've got personal photos I don't want to be revealing on there. But again, yeah, Photos app, brilliant redesign. Stuff like the App Store, very big, huge redesign over here. It's still got a similar layout, but again, it's a new design. Yeah, let's just delve into some of the other features besides this new beautiful sleek design that Apple. Some Geekbench created. Results. Using Geekbench 4, it just doesn't seem to work. It keeps giving me the certificate for the server's invalid. I tried to do a CPU and a compute test, but still getting the same thing. It seems like Geekbench just doesn't want to work on Yosemite, so it'd be quite interesting. It seems like a lot of these applications are just unsupported until it gets to about High Sierra level. But yeah, I tried to have Firefox as my main web browser. Still, it just does the same thing. I can't even install Chrome on this OS. It asks me for an older version. So yeah, it seems like I can't get any Geekbench mark scores for you guys. Just can see that both my iPhone and my iPad show up for AirDrop. Odd. It was being very weird, but it seems to be showing up. I'm just gonna see if I can try and send a file from my iPad. But it's very fiddly, guys. It's not the greatest experience on Yosemite. I think this is the problem I had in the early phases of AirDrop. It just wouldn't work as reliantly. But I can see my Mac Pro showing up on my iPad, so I've clicked on it. It's saying it's waiting, but I don't see anything. You know, it's just not as consistent as the current releases of macOS. So yeah, it's there, it works on and off, but I'm just trying to send a file and it's not working. So yeah. Feature that was released this year was obviously phone calls and SMS on the Mac. Yeah, very crucial. You could just pick up your phone call from your Mac. It will obviously show up on your phone that you're talking. It used to show you a green bar at the top, as you can see here, guys. Yeah, very handy. This was a lot of people were asking for a feature like this, and Apple over-delivered with this one. Loads of people loved it. Again, it's still a key feature nowadays. Yeah, it just made it convenient. You know, you don't want to go stretch. If your phone's on the other side of the room, you can just literally pick it up on your MacBook. Like, guys, that's incredible. This is obviously enhanced to the iPad as well. Yeah, all positives, guys. It was a positive update. It's just the only issue was a lot of the older devices, I guess, struggled a bit to run a new design, let's say. But yeah, again, I'm going to link all these Macro articles down for every OS update that there is. They've got very useful information on here. So yeah, that's the messages for Mac. So just talking about app compatibility for Yosemite, we've got iWork 14, major release that works. Chrome 87, which was released back in November 2020, so I was able to get some statistics there. Firefox ESR 78 again is the only version that actually seems to work. This is going to be the same for El Capitan as well. Office apps, it seems to be Office for Mac 2016. Suite works. The Adobe Suite, this is CS6 I've put down again. There's not much information. Creative Cloud only works from Big Sur onwards, so it seems to be CS6 that seems to be working. Even the individual applications require Big Sur onwards nowadays. And Final Cut Pro 10.2.3 is the latest version that can work. So guys, we're now moving on to OS X El Capitan. This was released with version 10.11 on September 30th of 2015. The upgrade time from Yosemite was 17 minutes and 2 seconds, so it was quicker. The current version that's available right now is 10.11.6, which was released back in July 2016. However, the latest security build version is from 2018 of 10.11.6. Again, it's a free update from 10.6.8 Snow Leopard, and it's also included a new device, which was the MacBook that Apple released back in early 2015. So yeah, just another device, but every other device from previous years is still supported, which was brilliant. Now booted into OS X El Capitan 10.11.6. It's again, no differences. The El Capitan is more of a performance and security fix OS, so not many features were really released with this operating system, but let's just go through a couple of interesting things that I saw. So as soon as I booted in, the first thing it showed me is that there's updates available. So it says there's a restart required. So there's a device support update. There's a digital camera raw compatibility update 6.21, iTunes 12.8.2, iTunes device support, which is I presume is the newer devices, Mac App Store update for Capitan, remote desktop client update, and the security update, which was released back in 2018, it seems like. So yeah, coolest features, and I guess convenience sake, was mission control for this device. So what this did is, I've got plenty of apps open, as you can tell from the bottom and on my screen. As soon as I click the mission control, it opens up different windows everywhere. This is brilliant. It allows me to get any single application that's open that's been lost. Let's just say I want to get Safari, and it brings Safari straight to the front. Now another cool feature along with it is if I move Safari to the left, I have plenty of applications to choose from to open up on a split view basis. So let's just say I want to open up the new calendar app. There you go. Both apps open full screen. Everything's working. Now, if I want to go back from it, I just minimize, and yeah, both the applications would come down. I think the other one is probably in my mission control as a standalone application, yeah, but I can just drag it out. I'm not using the official Apple keyboard, so I am thus using the app to bring up mission control, but it's F3 on the Apple keyboard to do this. Interesting changes as well. So if I open up a couple of sites, let's just say Yahoo, and on this one google.co.uk. What's quite interesting is, let me actually open up one more, youtube.com. So what you can now do is you can literally make small little pins, and what's so cool about it is that it puts a little logo for it as well, so you know what it is, which I found was quite good. And yeah, it's just easily accessible. If I close Safari and I reopen Safari, they're still there, and it will just refresh the page to whatever site you wanted to go to. So yeah, it's pretty cool, nice little feature. Yeah, very, very helpful. Small but very helpful. Error I keep seeing with El Capitan, it was happening in Yosemite as well, and Mavericks, is the connection is not private. I'm just accessing Stack Overflow just to give you guys an example, but if I click on, as soon as I typed in the URL and went to it, this is the first message I see. Click on Show Details, click on View Certificates, it says it's not valid. Expires on Saturday 18/2023, which is a bit odd. So I click on Visit this website, and bear in mind this website works absolutely fine. on other devices. So as soon as I type my Mac Pro password in, this is what I see, a jumbled mess. But this is more the website's issue. I had a similar issue with something called Lime, I think it was LimeWire or something along those lines. I accessed. That gave me the same message, but the website was showing properly. So yeah, it's odd. It's odd, but this happens. El Capitan. Let's just check if AirDrop works. So Finder, AirDrop. Let me try and send an image from my phone. So AirDrop Mac Pro. There you go, guys. It works much better on El Capitan, and it should. There you go. There's the picture I sent. So it works better and more consistently on El Capitan onwards. Another feature, guys, I wanted to quickly show you is the mouse. The mouse gets a bit bigger. This was obviously the VIP feature, the headlining feature, the most important feature in macOS ever created. But yeah. Another thing that is quite interesting is Transit View was available on the Maps application, as I've shown here from Paddington going to Victoria Station. So guys, the app compatibility for El Capitan goes as following. So iWork 14 is still the major release that works. Chrome, you now see version 103, which was released back last year in June 2022. That was the last version that works. ESR 78 is still the last version that works for Firefox. Office for Mac 2016 still works on El Capitan. Again, CS6, not much info by Adobe, so it's very difficult with the Adobe apps to know compatibility, but Final Cut Pro 10.4.3 is the last version that is supported. So guys, is it wise to run this in 2023, either of these three OSs? No guys, it's wise to stay away. You have to dig for compatible software for all three OSs. They're just not readily available in the internet anymore or on the App Store. You have to dig quite a lot, and it's just not worth your time. Some of the services just weren't working for me. Not sure what was going on, but I'm pretty sure it's because outdated certificates were coming into play, and some features were simply just too buggy or just don't work anymore, guys. It's not worth it. Stay away from these three OSs if you can. If it's for nostalgia purposes or something specific, then be my guest, guys. But it's not wise to run either of these three OSs anymore in 2023. Now, this was episode 1. The next episode will be focusing on Mojave, on High Sierra, and on Sierra. Not sure why I did that one in reverse, but stay tuned for the next episode. This was the Macintosh Guide. If you enjoyed the video, like the video, guys, and if you would leave a subscribe, that would be fantastic for the channel. See you guys then.